started, I'm going to pull up my little thing. So welcome to anybody who is live with us. Welcome to people who are watching this after it's taken place. I'm really grateful for you joining my monthly spiritual development webinar. And this month we've got Becky Wertz, also known as Becky, as our special guest. A small introduction about Becky is that she's a certified therapeutic harp practitioner. She's a fantasy artist, a starseed, a wayshower, an empath, and she shares a lot of her journey through all of her art, her music, and her videos. She has a very strong connection with a higher consciousness. And she's regularly sharing like channeled messages that really help to assist our own journey and our own transformations. And Becky, I find, has got a really great way of just kind of grounding the very etheric and spiritual to the everyday kind of life. And that's what I enjoy about you a lot. It's very relatable, your work, and you know, it's just, you are a friend, but I feel like it is like speaking to a friend when you're listening to your videos.
Absolutely.
I met you through our mutual friend Beth a couple of years back.
Hi Beth.
Hey Beth. And Beth knew how much we would get along before we did. I think, you know, and it's peeled, you know, layers over the years, because I knew that I loved you immediately.
Same.
Through everything that we've been doing together, every connection that we've had is definitely deepened and expanded beyond what I imagined. So very grateful to Beth. Huge shout out to her, and so grateful for her following her intuition and connecting the right people. And so, yeah, we connect a lot, and we've had a lot of conversations, esoteric and metaphysical and day-to-day mundane life stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Over the years. And I've just found those conversations so helpful. So I'm glad that people kind of get to be a fly on the wall for this conversation. And, you know, my biggest hope is that they can take away as much as I do every time as well. So
I know, they're amazing. I've enjoyed the past two that you did, and you know, I wanted to share my tea thing with you today. It says, say what you mean and mean what you say. I'm like, oh man. Bam.
It's funny because you already answered the question that I had. I was going to ask you, what tea are you drinking today?
The stress relief one from Yogi.
The Yogi one, and I love their little sayings on each one. Well, I've gone with my traditional Earl Grey, and my cats were all...
No way!
Kitty power!
Kitty power. Oh my God.
So all the cats in the house.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got some feline energy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which is funny because it's the last card that I posted out my animal guidance in the spiritual development group, and it was representing fresh changes, which also seems to have come up a lot this week. A lot of new things happening and emerging at the moment. So I'm
oh my gosh, nonstop earrings and downloads and things going on this week. I mean, it's never like been that much, like almost every 20 or 30 minutes or on the hour. It's crazy.
Definitely. And I've also discussed with several people about how intense it's been on the body as well for
I've been so sleepy. I've been resting like super long, like more than I usually do. So
definitely. And my pain levels as well. I've been waking up feeling like an old woman.
Yes. Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
I'm like, I am not old, and there is no reason for this.
I know.
But yeah, so definitely feeling it. But we'll explore that a little bit more. I kind of just wanted to see if you wanted to do a little introduction about yourself.
I think, I don't know. It's like, always want to share this part of me, but it's also very like, it's part of my past. It's something I've grown through, but I think it's important that people understand it's where I'm coming from, to see how much I've had to get through in order to get to now, because I wasn't always this person sitting in front of you. But basically, I grew up in a very Orthodox religion, and I was part of the church for, I would say, for the first 22 years, 22 years, and started questioning after that, starting to find my truth. Things just didn't feel right. They didn't fit right. I was growing out of it, out of the box, as they say.
Right.
And then I'm also a sufferer. I've been through child sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, and there's some kind of like mental health challenges in my family and whatnot. And so I had a lot of therapy for that. A lot of, actually it went to court because I pressed charges, and it was like one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, because it was a family member. And, but it required me to speak my truth. And at the time I was doing it to stand up for another family member as well, because I didn't want the same abuse continuing. And it also kind of drove me into looking into a paralegal degree, which is where I got my legal background, because I wanted to understand the whole legal issues and process while I was going through it. I was also getting this degree, and the legal degree has like served me here or there whenever I've had to return to getting a job. But after a while I got tired of that and wanted to get back into this. So music has been always a part of my life since I was like 3 or 5 years old, just that young and starting. And I didn't pick up a harp until I was in college, and I saw that there's harp lessons being offered. When I was on my way to symphonic band, I would see these girls take harp lessons, and I'm like, do you have to be a major? And they're like, no, you can take a beginning harp class. And I'm like, sign me up. So I took it for one semester, but I didn't touch it again until my 30s. And I've been playing for 6 or 7 years now. And so I still very much feel like an intermediate beginner. Like I have the knowledge of the advanced music, but I don't have the skill quite yet on the harp. So getting those two to match up, takes time. But so I'd say like I left the church, and then I started having I met my husband, and I started having, like after our marriage is when I started questioning like life after death. And that's when I found the Endorph site that has all the NDE experiences. And basically I would stay up like until the wee hours of the morning reading these. I was so hungry for their experiences and their knowledge. And it really woke me up. And from then on, it's like, it's history. I started having the Kundalini awakening. I started having all these neat dreams and experiences. And then, kind of went through that whole ascension period time where you're just trying to clear all the time. And I was having trouble getting pregnant, and I wasn't feeling very good. And so I was trying to explore with my diet, and I was doing paleo and the autoimmune diet. And I did that, and I got pregnant with my daughter. She finally came to us. So
beautiful, Renee.
I have a 3-year-old right now, and we're in the midst of potty training, which is going very well. I'm sorry. I'm just like, yes, finally, no more diapers.
She pooped.
So yeah, it's all good. That's all I'll say about that.
But, she's beautiful. She really is.
But I went through a traumatic birth with her. It's like, I haven't gone through enough yet. Let's add that one onto the pile. It literally made all my issues around abuse just kind of resurface. Lots of root chakra work I had to do. And I went to therapy because I had a retained placenta, and just the way the manual extraction
Right.
caused such damage to me that I had to go to therapy for that.
Wow,
And
bless you.
yeah, it was just, I had problems sleeping. I had problems with my health. It kind of launched my autoimmune issues. It kind of like made them worse because the birth was so bad, and just, you don't catch up on sleep until the third year. Really. So I feel like I'm like, oh, finally I'm being able to catch up and heal. But yeah, I've just been feeling like it's time for me to get into this more like helping others and spiritual work. So I know that was a long answer. I'm sorry. So long.
No, and that's what we're here for. Honestly, we want to hear you. We want to hear whatever you want to share. Like, I'm so interested, and it's so funny because like there's a couple of things that I'm like, oh, I didn't know that.
Oh,
like,
really?
My sister-in-law is a paralegal as well.
Way. Oh my goodness.
And the fascination with the afterlife studies obviously has been one of mine, and I was glued to Dr. Michael Newton. Is it Dr. Michael Newton's work? Yes. He did Journey of the Soul, Destiny of the Soul, and he basically was logging all these different people's experiences, and
awesome.
They weren't connected in any way, but there was these kind
similarities
of patterns and a lot of similarities that it's like it's there in black and white, and these people like don't know each other, you know.
Exactly.
So it's, his work is fascinating as well.
It goes across cultures and languages and religions. I was finding these consistencies no matter what, worldwide, which was amazing.
I'm glad you say that too, and I think it's pure volume of information. You have to just suck it all in from everywhere, and you've got to keep going until you start seeing all those patterns emerge, because they're not going to be there in one or two or even three different reports on one subject. You've really got to go all over the place for it to start seeing those truths. So so you kind of covered a little bit about what got you kick-started about you know, taking your, you know, personal development a little bit more seriously, and I just, where am I? I'm just wondering whether you have anything more to add to
absolutely
that decision to begin to really knuckle down and develop yourself.
Exactly. It's interesting that fear kind of was the thing that drove me. I would say fear and curiosity, a search, an inner search for truth, my own truth, not my husband's, not a church or religion or, you know, I went through that time where I had pagan and Wiccan friends. I had Christian friends. I like experience, you know, like I went to a lot of people and I asked them about what they believe in for a while.
Right.
And nothing really felt like it clicked until I went and read the near-death experience, and then I had the Kundalini awakening, which I'll talk briefly about. So I thought I was just kind of like sleeping, like lucid sleep. It was like in the middle of the night, 2-3 a.m. And I was just laying down on the couch because I honestly, I sleep better on the couch, like for my back. But anyway, and I just felt this light baby blue energy moving through me like a wave. And I felt it start at the bottom of my spine all the way up into the base of my skull. And it was beautiful and peaceful. And I kind of, after it happened, I woke and I was like, what the hell was that? I was like, did I just have like a seizure? Like, I really thought, like, I was not even like, I've never heard of a Kundalini awakening. I've never experienced anything like this before. So I was, you know, on Google trying to figure it out. I even had is it an EMG? I don't know. The one where they try to induce do a lot of flashing lights to see if it'll cause you to seize. I don't know what.
Okay.
I went and had that test done and it was negative. And so I was just like, huh, that's weird. But then when I was like looking more into my symptoms online, because, you know, Dr. Google,
Yeah.
I came across Kundalini and I was like, interesting. And then started to read and research a little bit more about that. And I'm like, I really think that's what it was. And I felt that it was assisted, which was very, very cool. And then soon after that Kundalini experience, I started to connect, doing like an exercise, connect with my guides. And I heard the name Andromedan come up. And I thought, isn't that Greek? Like, I've literally never heard of ETs or benevolent races, nothing. Like,
Right.
I've always been, though, very connected, like a kind of a sci-fi chick. I've always been into that kind of thing. And from a very young age, I could see my third eye. It kind of looked like a purple swirl. Like,
Right.
I called it the purple snow. I would ask my parents about it even. So that was very much open. I had a lot of like UFO contact dreams and things.
Right.
There may be even one time where I feel like I perhaps saw one when I was riding my bike as a kid. What's that?
Right.
But anyway, but that I was so bogged down by the religious indoctrination. So I didn't really want to entertain any of that. You know, it was out there, right?
Right.
So I was very, very, you know, so anyway, after I started looking up Andromedan and everything, I saw that they were an ET race. And I thought, huh, that's interesting. That night I went to sleep and had a dream where some ET beings were at a chalkboard and they had me write out Arcturo. I don't think they did the whole thing because I don't think I would have remembered. So they kind of shortened it for me. So that the very next day when I looked into it, I was like, OMG. Right. Those are the Arcturians. Like, they are contacting me right now. Like, I was so blown away. I couldn't even, kind of like an inner, I knew it, you know? Like, right. This is why I have had such a hard time here, you know? Like, and just discovering myself as a starseed and everything. And I'm just like, oh man, finally. It's like you find your tribe, you know? It's, right. And the answers that you've been searching for. Anyway. So, and from there, it's just been dreams. It's been DNA activations. It's been third eye openings. I've even had experiences with healing sessions in the Arcturian, like a crystal quartz room inside, excuse me, inside one of their temples.
Yeah.
Just such beautiful experiences have come through for me working with them. I could go on. A whole other video. So.
And as you know, I'm sitting here just resonating with you.
Because I was open to it. I was very excited and open to it.
Right. And it's interesting because, like, you said that you felt that your Kundalini experience was assisted, and I felt that too. I also didn't know at the time that what I was having was a Kundalini awakening. It wasn't until years later I'm like, that has to be what that was all about, because I had laid down to do meditation and something else completely took over. And they went through every single chakra, and in every chakra was a being. And it really caught my attention, because the person that was for my crown chakra was this kind of Mohican looking dude running towards me with an axe. And he kind of cracked. He just came running towards me and cracked through my head. And my crown chakra was just like... and like, I could tell you, it was just every single one of them was just working. Each being was on a chakra.
Wow.
And they let me know who they were. And it, like I said, that last one was just like, okay, that wasn't pleasant.
Exactly. That's because it brings up all of it, like it wakes you up, but it hurts. Yeah.
Right. Like, God, dude, everyone else was so nice. What's the axe all about?
Oh my gosh. Now, if that isn't like a vivid experience, I don't know what.
Right. And I was in the Paris as well, which it's not, I'm not normally there.
Oh, wow.
So, and also with the ET experiences, from a young age, also I had those. That would be we'll have to do a whole other thing on our actual experiences, because that will go on. I could go on forever to kind of share with everybody, but for sure, I really resonate with everything that you've been saying so far, and can definitely relate it in my own world. So you've got your YouTube channel that I'm subscribed to. I will be putting the links in the video and everything. I know your user is Starseed Art.
Yeah, that's what it was first. Yeah.
Okay, well, when I have to like type your address in, it says YouTube user Starseed
Art, yeah.
And then it will take you to the Heartstrings and Wings page. But I'll make sure everybody has those links to be able to find you there. So
I know, it's confusing.
You began this year sharing a monthly energy update, and January's was very apt for me. I think I just felt like you were just really in tune with exactly what the energy was like.
That's good to hear, since this is kind of new for me still. So.
Right. And again, you really kind of ground it and make it like a day-to-day kind of thing, which is really cool. And I just wondered what inspired you to start doing those this year. What was the final thing that just made you go, let's just do it?
I know, right? If you look back at the history of my channel, I have done ever so often a spiritual video, and I felt extremely pushed to, but I have been very, very hesitant to want to do it. I am shy, and I consider those experiences like, they're just sacred. And so putting them out there, but I realized I want to help people more than I care about a negative comment or something, it's more important for me to help others right now. And so I was kind of feeling like, what direction do I go with my channel? I've done a little, you'll see, like I've done a lot of variety of videos out there.
She's so organized, everybody. just for her organizational skills go there. But
you're so sweet.
The heart music and everything else is awesome.
Thank you. But so I love Lori Ladd's channel on YouTube. She used to be Lori of Lemuria. And because I had a connection with Lemurians, I very drawn to her channel, and I really, really resonate with all of her messages as well. So I decided to book a reading for my birthday, and I really wanted guidance about the YouTube channel, and she went right into that. Like, it was like, that's exactly like my guides at the time were like, you don't need to do any of the opening, or she's ready, she's done, she's like you, she needs to get. And basically my grandma came through, and she's like, she said, my grandma's trying to give me a kick in the pants because I need to make these videos, and I need to start doing it now. I have to officially come out of the closet as like a spiritual, influencer or sharer. I don't know. So I'm very, it's hard to come out of the closet like that. Especially to the people I know in real life. And I've told them, and my neighbor and my best friends, they're like, what is this webinar you're doing? And I'm like, I just don't know how to bring it up in everyday conversation.
I know.
But you talk to aliens, what? What? Anyway, so I want it to be more common knowledge, that like more commonly taught. And I think that's my goal. Is because I was very much, when I was first looking into it, going, like that looks a little nutty,
Right.
Like, there's something, it's out there, right? And so I have to kind of like bring it down and ground it. And I know that that's my purpose, because I'm very just down to earth. I tell it how it is. I'm so not a perfect person. I feel like I'm in a broken body sometimes, like, because I suffer from chronic pain and illness. And I struggle with the self-worth thing. Like, I'm not a guru like these people on YouTube, but maybe it's time for teachers like you and me, to just start talking about it, and to make it feel like it's not so out of reach. Does that make sense?
Right. You're so on the same page as me. It was kind of, it's exactly the same driving force that made me come out of my comfort zone for the spiritual development group. Because, you know, it's not comfortable for me to do videos. I felt very pushed to do it.
Me too.
But, you know, I thought to myself, you know, take the pressure off, Frankie, because even if you've just got a small group of 5 or 6 people and you're interacting and working with them all the time, you're making a difference.
Yes.
You're giving yourself to these people, and it will cause a ripple effect. It's not about quantity, it's about the quality of what you're gifting to people and how much they want to be a part of that, you know.
I love that. That helped me with you saying that. It's not about like having 10,000 followers or whatever, you know, or like subscribers.
It's about helping one person every day.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, I can't save everybody, but I can do my little bit.
Yes.
And if someone needs me, I can be there for them. And I truly believe in my heart that our videos reach the right people and touch the right hearts. And if we're supposed to reach a wider audience, we will. If not, we are being used in the highest and best way. And I do believe that.
I agree.
And I know just from, you know, one of my old mentors, I mean, she had a group of maybe 5 or 6 people on a weekly basis, where we would meet every week. And, you know, she made a difference. She made a massive difference. So she wasn't getting all those 10,000 followers and stuff, but she made a huge difference in my life. And I'm grateful for all the time that she put in. That was, you know, she wasn't paid or anything for it. She's just sharing her knowledge. So I think, you know, it's important. Another really important thing that I thought about as you were talking was, you know, I was reading this article about Doreen Virtue today, and she's kind of renounced spiritualism
I saw
and
that
stuff.
too.
And
she was a big part of that first connecting with my guides.
Right. But, you know, again, and I know you're going to resonate with this, my journey has been that I've kind of felt let down by a lot of mentors and gurus. You know, I put them on a pedestal and thought that they were perfect, you know, and that they weren't human beings and have their own problems and hang-ups and feel lost and alone and confused.
Because they always have every answer, it seems.
Right.
And it's like...
But as we know for ourselves, we got answers for everyone else. But, you know, being able to reflect and see your own stuff is a whole other ball game.
So true.
And, you know, I think she's actually is doing us all a service by doing this. You know, grounding it again and going, holy cow, okay, she was just human. You know?
Right. Yes.
But you can't
she's
fall
not
off the wagon.
Yeah.
And maybe she's not falling off the wagon. I don't know. Maybe in what she's doing, it is empowering us all again to stop going to gurus for your answers, for a set way.
Right.
Make your own oracle cards. Write your own journal entries with your own intuitive knowledge. I feel... It's putting it back in our hands and telling us to stop putting everyone else, because we are as good as any enlightened master. We can all do it. And at the same time, we all have our challenges to overcome. So it's just keeping that in mind. And again, you know, when I went back to doing the spiritual development, I just kept in mind that to be as real and authentic as I can.
Yes,
you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
If I'm messing up on my video thing, then I've messed up on my video thing. I'm not going to fluff it up. I'm not going to wear makeup for every single video.
Right.
I am just going to, you know, just be Frankie and be as comfortable as I can possibly be.
That's so important. We need to
with
see
everybody.
It. Yes, we absolutely. I keep getting that feeling too. I so much like they need to see the everyday me, that I am a housewife. I work part-time at a music store. I really like cheese. I feel like
It's the glue that holds my life together.
I swear occasionally,
Right.
like this happens.
Right. And so does everyone else that we look up to or are inspired by. It's the same. We're just we're all walking our own paths and are learning our own things. We just have to remind ourselves that and know that we're doing a greater service to our students by showing them that it's not easy. It's work. And it's an ongoing endeavor. It's lifelong. There's no end.
Oh yeah, it's like encoded in my blueprint. It really is.
Right.
It's just like I can't escape it. It's like zippered into my life. And that's another thing during the reading that Lori brought up was that this. I mean, they're like the Pleiadians and the other beings that I'm working with are just like, come on already, we're waiting, and I'm like. I know, but you guys, this is hard.
Yes, so. I hear you. Okay, so I want to move on and talk about what it's like being empathic. But firstly, I just want to kind of clarify for our audience what I mean when I say empath. So for me, an empath is a highly sensitive person. They sense energy. They filter the world through their intuition and their very highly attuned senses. They feel everything very deeply, have a strong inner knowing. They're so sensitive to emotions, energy of people and animals and elements in the environment. So they kind of have the ability to pick up on other people's feelings and can give them access to psychic information because they're kind of working with energy and reading
Absolutely.
energy. Does that feel in alignment with how you feel about empaths?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It feels like I have, that hair thing that you put on your head and it like scratches your scalp? Yeah. I feel like I have that coming out from my like energetic field or my body, like all these different arms that are in antennas, like, and they in tune with it can vary per person. Like there can be more of an animal empath or a plant empath or the crystals and the stones. But I actually always knew I was empathic and genuine, but I never knew what an empath was until my husband suffered from Bell's palsy. And that's where half the face, it gets like
drooped.
Yeah, drooped and frozen.
Like the muscles kind of.
Exactly. And so I, in order to save money, we went to a massage therapist and she taught me how to do the facial and the cranial massages so that I wouldn't have to keep going back to the therapist because, it was expensive. And I had to literally do this almost every day or every other day for like 6 to 8 months for him. Because it would just twitch and it would, it was very painful.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so when I was tuning in to his experience with the therapist doing the massage, I just really tuned into him, because I had to pay attention. I went home that night and I took a shower, and in the shower, I felt half of my face go numb. And I was like, oh, come on. Like, it's not happening to me too. Like, what is this? So I'm like in the shower and I'm hitting my face, literally. And I'm just like, what is going on? I'm like, I don't want to have it too. And I didn't know what that was about. It was gone the next day. So when I looked more into that, I realized an empath can physically feel ailments. And I knew I could do this because like I would talk with my sister-in-law who is a migraine sufferer like I am. And like all she would have to do is like talk about her migraine, or I could just be around her and I'm like feeling that's like sympathy pains. Like, so I've got a little bit of that going. I've got that antenna, I've got the antenna that's sensitive to the star being energies and fairies and fantasy, those kind of realms. Because I'm an artist and musician, so I'm very connected with that. I feel like when I play my harp, you know, I channel those sounds and feelings and use it with improv a lot.
Right.
And so sometimes I'll just sit and play and just let whatever comes through move through me on the harp. And sometimes I feel like I'm literally playing like the frequency of home.
Right. I
It's
believe that.
it's like
believe that.
it's like I have to do it because I get so homesick.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I the music side of things, I think because we are so in tune with energy, music can have a real, you know, it affects everybody. There's not a person alive that music doesn't affect, but I really feel like empaths feel it more.
Yeah. I have a
I
question for you,
yeah.
actually, because I don't know if it's just me, and maybe some of you that are watching, let us know in the comments. So when I listen to music and it strikes that right resonance in me,
Yeah.
I get like head to toe shivery goosebumps, and it almost feels like a wave, and I can. It's going to sound silly, but it feels like a musical orgasm. I don't know how else to put it than that. And I'm like, am I the only one who can feel it?
It's
Yeah.
euphoric.
Oh my God,
It
it's
really
amazing.
is.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, like the vibrations of it, just that's why I've been really, well, when I met you, I was really into harp and several musicians that I would listen to with the harp. I've recently transitioned more to the violin, and I love the metal, like singing bowls and the UFO drum.
Yeah.
The metal vibration for me is just, it's what I need right now. It's the right frequency. Because as soon as I start playing those, my body just, it starts vibrating really fast. And I feel outside of myself.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
Like, I'm in my body, but I'm not in my body. It doesn't really make sense at all.
I
but
totally get it.
I know people will understand. Yeah. And like even you were saying about your husband, the empathy.
Yeah.
I've had that so bad with a sister once. She broke her collarbone, and I'd done some healing for her, and the next day I had this huge bruise over my collarbone, and she's like feeling better.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
you took her pain.
I literally took it and had the big bruise there to prove it, and she was feeling way better.
Yep.
But I've found that it has happened a couple of times when I've done healing on people. If I'm feeling very emotional about that person, transference happens to me immediately.
Yeah.
I have to be really careful.
Yeah.
Especially with, you know, people I love. I mean, I love everybody, but like family and husband.
Yeah. I know,
I'm afraid of what I'm going to take on. But yeah, so I always have to be very careful of that. And even down to, you know, smell and my hearing. I feel like I'm a dog. You know,
oh my gosh,
really
me too. Yeah. I know. I know.
I'm like, my husband's hardly really got the TV up high, and I'm like, oh,
I know.
It hurts. It really hurts.
Or light. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing. Sound.
And yeah. So, and even down to, you know, my sister had sent a picture, her baby had vomited all over her the other day.
Oh my God.
And she picked her up, one of those really loving moments. She's like, oh, and this baby went, bleh. She's like, I can taste it in my mouth.
I know.
I'm like, oh, stop it. I can too. Stop.
Yes, exactly. That is what being an empath is like.
Right,
Tasting
exactly.
everybody else's throw up.
Right. It really, really is.
My gosh.
It really is. And it catches you off guard all the time. Because I mean, like I said, I have to kind of try and stay on top of it. I'm very conscious of myself. But I mean, there's only, you know, like we've been saying, we're only human.
Yeah.
You know, that God is not up 24/7. So
and until I learned what an empath was, I then finally was picking up the tools of like how to deal with walking into a room and being bombarded by everybody's issues. you know, and then taking them home and making them mine. Shush, for the first 30 years of my life, I did that, you know, and I'm just like, I can't even. So, so it was nice to finally like pick up those tools, and you just practice. And when you get better at it, you're just like, oh, I was able to be around so-and-so, and I was able to just, you know, keep myself in here and not too much in there, you know, and trying to fix things. Cause, oh my gosh, do I want to fix everything? You know?
Yeah, definitely has been liberating to feel like I don't need to have the answer for everybody, you know, and knowing where my energy is of the highest and best use, and I wait for the people to ask. When they ask, it's different.
It is. In fact, that's exactly when I was like, you know what? They have to ask. They have to ask. Otherwise, be a listening ear, you know?
Yeah. And I make a point of, you know, because I think a lot of people think, you know, empath psychics, they're, you know, got this button where they're switched on 24/7. Whereas for me, I'm working hard to keep it switched off.
Exactly.
And I like tuning into it, and I will tune into it. But on my time, in my space, when I'm ready, not at the drop of the hat in any circumstance, anywhere. It's just not going to happen, you know.
As a new parent, being an empath is so great, because like it makes me so in tune with my daughter and what her needs are. And I just think when you have those empath skills, it really makes you like that much more on the parenting scale of like being able to figure things out. But then of course I have the fear, like if her suffering, I feel like would probably affect me that much more, you know, like how do I separate that? And then just really wanting to take away her pain. Like, you know, those are things about, I think about, like, what is it being an empath and being a parent going to be like for me? So
yeah, definitely you're going to be able to pick up on her stuff easily. You won't be able to hide much from
Mom. She can't get away with anything.
She'll come home one day, you'll be like, who's Michael?
Exactly. Dang it, Mom! Stop looking into my life.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there is a light and a dark side to all of these abilities that I believe we all have. I feel like these are the strongest ones in me. I can't speak for you. I just feel like my empathic ability is the strongest out of all of them, and the one that I have to kind of keep in check the most. All the other ones kick in, but that kind of just is the strongest one for me. So yeah, like I said, there is definitely a light side and a dark side to it. Having, you know, feeling things so strongly. And not always having control of our environment or the people that we are coming into contact with.
Exactly.
It's tough, which is why I want to, you know, I was just excited to be able to talk to you, because I'm really want to share more about empaths. I think only the last few years more and more are emerging, or realizing that is, you know, what they are. And it took me quite a long time actually also to pinpoint, because I knew I definitely was in tune, and I tapped into mediumistic and all my clairsenses, so I knew something was going on, but I felt like, and there it is, everything is I feel that's the beginning of my every sentence.
It's so true. Oh my gosh.
And that's who I am. I feel that's how it is. I feel you. And I really do. But yeah, and you know, it's nice to be able to pick up also and be helpful sometimes, you know, when we are firing on all cylinders and we tap into our empathic ability and are able to pick up things around a person, or for you, I'm sure, you know, when you are doing your harp therapy sessions, you're kind of very in tune with that person's energy, exactly what kind of note they need, and how to make that energy flow through your session to support them. So I think it gets used in very positive ways as well. And it's just, do you have any additional things that you find are really positive about it?
Only that I wish I would have discovered this about myself years ago. It would have saved me so much, angst.
Right.
It would have helped me understand myself more. Oh gosh. But, we found out when we found out, and
we did. And I think it is a bit of a pattern. It does seem to run riot with a lot of us. Before we get a better hold over it. But then, and like I said, in the last few years, I've seen a real emerging
absolutely
happening, and I think I'm happy to really contribute
Me
to
too.
that information, and help other people through it,
because
hard.
It was so hard. We don't want you to go through that,
No. I just, the biggest thing for me is just letting people know they're not alone. You're not the only one who feels that way. It's okay to be like that.
That was it. That's my drive to do every single video. Because you're not alone. I don't want you to feel the way I did,
Right.
And here's what's helped me. I hope it helps you too.
Right.
I mean,
it's a good intention to have, I think. So moving on into our kind of intuition, for you, what is it like when you start feeling your intuition and following it?
Sometimes it's easy, sometimes I have no clue. Honestly, it's like I want to know that, like you said earlier, how it makes it's harder to just figure out your own stuff, because you don't know whether to trust what you're getting, or you've got your own mental language that you're using, that you got your past coming in, you've got all of these issues. And so it's nice to be able to talk to someone like you, or somebody who is not you, when it's about a decision that you're kind of like me, when I had that trouble about stepping out of the spiritual closet. I need a little courage. I need a little guidance. Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? It feels like it is, but and when you can get confirmation, all it is, it's verification. We just want verification that we can clean out those weedy thoughts and then get down to that. Okay, yep, it really was all of what I was thinking and feeling. And then there's easy things like, I feel like having my stress relief tea. I'm intuiting into my body. Tonight, I really wanted steak. Oh my gosh! So I had steak. And there's so many different places, and avenues and things that intuition, move into. If you meet a person and everything looks right, but something just doesn't feel right, something is something's off about this. That's intuition, obviously, and it's just, we've all made the mistake of listening to it sometimes and totally not listening to it, and then finding out where that lands us, but that's okay. That's going to happen. You can only experiment with it and practice with it. So.
Right. And as we said, it seems to be easier for using on other people, and it's always those times when I doubt myself, it catches me out.
Exactly. So me too. Yeah.
But it's it's a muscle that just it has to be kind of used and exercised as much as possible to kind of keep building that connection with it, which is again why the development group for me is important. It's somewhere where people can come and practice it, and I'm trying to give exercises to be able to follow it and be with it every single day.
I love that. Thank you for that.
I'm grateful for anybody who wants to take part. It's nice. It's kind of selfish because for me, it's like it keeps me going as well, and it keeps
Me
me
too.
focused.
Yeah.
And I'm doing all of it, and I'm like, I'm doing this anyway. You want to fall on or fall off? I don't really mind.
Right.
But I'm always happy when people are resonating with it, with the work. So how do you feel is the best way to develop our intuition and inner knowing?
This is the one question that I remember reading, and I was like, oh man, I have to ask for help a lot. That's just, my mind is an overthinking. We're both Virgos, right?
Right.
We overthink things to death, literally. Yeah. So I really work with my guides a lot with the clearing of the monkey mind is what it's, getting that out of the way so that I can listen to that. And I still feel like I need lots of work in that department,
That's a smart answer though. That's a very smart answer, because it really is, it's stillness that gives that space to hear that quiet voice that is there. And when that monkey mind is going 24/7 full blast on and on and on, you cannot hear any of that.
You can't.
So it is practicing mindfulness and stillness and being present and having that meditative mind all the time as best as possible.
Right.
I know we can't have it 24/7, but if we try and be as mindful as possible throughout our day, that's when we have greater access to our intuition. And then when we do have those, for me, meditation is just key, and the breath work as well is what helps to still me and align me in my energy. And then that is what opens up that connection.
Absolutely. And there's I was trying just to get used to this communication with my guides in an everyday, when you're busy doing your everyday thing, going around the house, whatever, and suddenly the thought or inspiration comes to you, maybe I should do a video about that. And then suddenly I come in and I'm like, no, I don't feel like it, blah, blah, blah. But then I realized no, that's them coming in and saying, hey,
Right.
And finally I'm starting to listen to that when they first tell me, not down the couple days later where I keep getting the repeated message, I should do this. And I'm like, so as soon as it happens now, I'm paying attention to it. And I still automatically shut it down at first because that's my natural response. I don't feel good. I'm always saying that I don't feel good, but then I realized, oh no, they're asking. This would, and it's not just my guides, it's higher self too. Putting it in there. It's do you play Sims? I don't know. You know that video game?
I don't play Sims, but I've seen that you play it.
Yes,
and
I love
you build amazing places.
So, you give you're the higher self and you give your sim an action to do, right? And it's the human part of me, because I have free will, comes up to it and likes to exit out. So I like to cancel it and be like, no. But then higher self is like, no, you still need to do that. So now I'm learning, don't exit out because it'll still...
Right, because it's going to keep repeating. Right. Definitely. So. Definitely. I agree. So you did mention before about having a lot of dreams. I definitely have a lot of dream experiences. Do you find them very helpful? Are they more confusing than not? Have you had some real vivid experiences in the dream realm?
Oh yeah, both positive and negative. I will say that I have actually had negative entity attacks, or maybe negative aspects of myself, battling those in the dream or whatnot. But once and those don't happen as much anymore. I notice this because the energies are lighter now. So I hardly have them anymore. And probably that came in my development too. So,
Right.
but in the very beginning, because I feared a lot of things, I feared the contact, just things, you have these dreams, and I've literally been shoved back in my body by beings that don't want me there. I feel like I've done healing work in my dreams. There was a girl I went to visit who was kind of just an energetic like source hanging out at this house because of her past abuse. And I felt inclined to go and help her there, and to help her understand, hey, I've been through the same exact situation. You can get through this. I was there to help her. She was not listening to it, and she shoved me away. And when that happened, I would wake up in a jerk, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, was I really helping that person? Like in dream state, So I feel like I've had so many ET experiences, a lot of ship dreams, a lot of just really weird experiences. Like, I know this is going to sound, I had a dream last night that I was completely disabled. Like I had no control over my body. I don't know what that was about. But when you wake up, you just feel like that dream hangover, for like half the day. And you're like, oh my gosh. I think as an empath, because you feel into that so much, it's like, it really does affect your day.
Yeah, definitely. My dream this morning was weird. I had some neighbours that I don't even know who they are. And I dug holes in the bottom of their garden for them to put these really weird posts in.
Yeah,
that's what knows? I was doing.
I know. Charlie's like, my husband Charlie, he's like, it's like your dream state is that show, The Quantum Leap. I'm like, I know, honey. I'm telling you. I'm like, what's on the dream thing today? Like, no.
I do. I feel like I shut my eyes to go to another world, but it's worlds. It's not just one world.
Oh, no. It's
dimensions,
places, playgrounds, like... there's just, oh my goodness, there's so much.
And the ship experiences, definitely, and the Arcturian healing chamber, it's like a crystal chamber.
Yeah, it's cool.
And I think we like that because it vibrates a lot. It's got like a hum when you're inside of it. And exploring all those realms. I'm keeping an eye on our time.
Oh, okay.
We haven't got too much further to go. I just want to make sure that you're not too tired now and you're okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
But let's just explore a little bit about past lives. I'd love to know, you have covered that you had a connection with the Andromedans and the Arcturians, but I don't know what past life experiences you've actually uncovered, or maybe want to share one that you learned about.
Yeah, the one that's coming up for me, because I really didn't, I personally felt like I didn't want to dip too much into it, because I'm the type of person that if I felt that much in it, I would take it into this life. And I didn't want it messing things up, like with who I am. But I have had some revealed to me. So as I was reading about starseeds and things like that and Arcturians, I came across just a passage about a planet exploding. And when I read about that, I just sobbed. And I had no idea why I was sobbing, for just no reason. It touched me in such a way that there's got to be something there. And then years later, I was sitting on a beach in Mexico, just lightly meditating, I was on vacation. And a past life came to me, or another life, an alternate life. I don't even know if it's past. I just feel like it's all happening. But anyway, I'm basically this tall, bluish being, no hair. It feels more on the male side. And I'm in charge, kind of overseeing these worker beings, like on a planet that do kind of like mining of resources. Like, I don't even know. It's kind of hard to explain. But anyway, they're very simple, very hive mind type beings. Nothing malevolent. How do I say that word? Malevolent about them at all. In fact, I felt a sort of responsibility for them. However, some kind of conflict arose where I made a decision based out of fear, and the planet and these beings ended up exploding. And I felt a personal responsibility for all of that, such a deep karmic thing in me. And when I realized that's why I'm so sad about this thing, and it also makes sense why I have volunteered coming here doing what I'm doing now, is because I want to help those beings, because I felt so awful about, you know, not standing up for those other beings like in that life. So that was revealed to me, and I think it's because I could handle it and I was ready for it, and it also made sense for a lot of like why I'm doing the work I'm doing now. So I thought I'd share that with you guys.
Definitely. And it's funny because what's been coming up for me also is a lot of kind of Atlantis memories, especially since I moved to the States. I've had lots of Atlantean memories come back of this cataclysmic event happening on Earth, and being here at that time. And again, just like you, I feel a great responsibility for that because I was here.
Yeah.
And I feel I contributed, just like right now, I feel responsible for the state of the earth because I'm living on it, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, there's this huge kind of duty to that is ringing through me, to just kind of do good and try and help people to raise their consciousness so that they can make new choices and different decisions.
Right.
I feel that's the highest and best use of me. That's how I can make the greatest change. Yeah, I think it's like the same story said in a different way.
Right, exactly. That's pretty neat.
So my last question for you is, how much do you think it costs not to be aligned with your higher self?
Oh, you're going to feel it immediately. I mean, I can't even think of not being, like, it's just such a inherent in my nature kind of thing. Like, I can't deny it. I don't, you know, like, obviously I'm going to feel it in the decisions I make or the consequences that I have, you know, because it's just, the universe is just a natural match to that. It's just, you put something out there, you're going to get back what you put out, you know, kind of type of thing. Okay, so an imperfect example is me avoiding wanting to come out of the spiritual closet for so long.
Right.
That's a good example.
Right.
Obviously I'm kicking a can down the road. It was becoming unbearable. It was becoming uncomfortable. It was becoming, like, honestly, I was becoming bored just because I wasn't following my path. It just didn't feel right.
Right.
Like, things weren't opening up for me. They're like, do you know what I mean? Like, things were just closed and very kind of just cold and distant feeling, and kind of like, this doesn't
I
feel
look
like...
at a lot of people in the world that are not in tune with their higher self, and they are very disconnected. They're very kind of zombified, and not aware of nature, not aware of their actions on other people, not aware of waste and all of those things that our higher self is highly attuned with.
Right.
So that's what I was feeling like. It's such a feeling of disconnection to everything and not knowing who you are. And it's kind of it's a relationship that you have to continue building.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you. I had Maya Larson in our group has put a couple of questions down. Her first one is, what moves you past the daily grind to spend time on your art form?
So pre-kid, I would just do it when the inspiration arrived. Post-kid, I literally have to schedule it in. Like,
All right.
I practice my harp when dinner's cooking, like when I have to wait for it to cook. That's how I get that in. Or I practice at work. And then when she gets older, it'll be easier for me to practice longer, obviously, because it's just really hard right now at this stage in her life. She wants to be always involved. But and then with the art thing, I think I would be a more successful artist if I had my muse with me more often. But I split it between art and music. And I feel that the art one literally comes to me several times a year, and that's it. I've noticed a pattern. And there's nothing I can really do about that. Like sometimes I can watch a video and get inspired and everything, but now that she's in preschool, I literally schedule like, okay, this is art day. Wednesday is art day.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And that works. I mean, I think either way works, you know, as long as you're doing it, you're doing it, you know, it's however it works for you is what's important.
And if I'm not feeling like getting into the drawing part of it, I'll maybe manage my website or edit some, you know, art photos or do those more businessy aspects to it.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things you just have to, make time for as and when you can. And I know that Maya is a mother as well, which is probably why she's asking, how do you even do anything? But I think Maya, actually, we should be asking her that question. Because if you could see how much she pumps out, you'd be like, what, you got 2 kids and a job?
Oh my
and you
gosh.
do all this?
Wow. Yeah.
And her other question was, is music essential for you?
It's my breath of life, honestly. I can't. It's so essential. It's everything. In fact, I wanted to share an experience briefly about another kind of like future, past life, whatever, alternate life. I am part of this being that is kind of like a collective being. So there's lots of beings inside of it, just like consciousness basically, and it's kind of cloud-like and it has pastel-y type colors and it loves to float around in the universe. And in this being, everybody has a vibration and a sound. So as you're part of this being, what you're doing back and forth is doing these bliss communications, and you're sending out these beautiful tones and everything. So when I'm bringing my music in, I'm trying to recreate what it was like being part of this being. And this being represents to me absolute bliss, almost heaven, like it's so very close to source, like almost like the next step down into form. And because it not only combines sound and a bunch of consciousness, it also combines light, because you're getting the colors and stuff, the vibrant colors.
Right.
And I love connecting with this being during meditative state, and I really think it's where I'm trying to draw, like I said, again, my music inspiration from. So
right. And I remember you saying that music is like home. It's like playing your songs of home. It's
absolutely
like, you know, having a cuddle from your mother, getting that nurturing hug. And again, because of being an empath, I think it really helps our own energy. It's healing for us to have it, and for you to play it as well.
It's the only
probably what keeps you
on the planet. Right. It's what keeps me here.
Yeah,
my passion for that. If I didn't have that, I don't know what I do, quite honestly. So, but I have my harp here. Would you guys like to hear something?
Well, you just read my mind. That's it. We've had our questions. Let's close this with some wonderful harp music from you.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much for being here, Becky.
Yes.
I'm gonna, once you finish playing, I'll kind of say goodbye and we'll wrap up the video. But I'm going to shut my eyes and listen to you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for playing for us.
You're very welcome. This is called Heaven. I don't know the exact name of it, but it's just, I think it feels like the frequency of heaven. So I'm going to take my headphones off while I play. Is that all right?
Of course.
Okay.
That's fine. Of course. Oh, Becky, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
So wonderful. God, that just like,
I know, like
relax me, rebalance me. I'm like
Aww.
goosebumps all up my legs. I'm ready to go to bed.
Right?
I'm
so ready
lovely.
To. Thank you for having me so much.
Oh,
this has been a pleasure.
Thank you again. Yeah, great. I mean, yeah, I could talk all night with you, but we'll stop here, and
sounds good.
Looking forward to chatting again with you soon.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you, everybody.
Take care, darling.